Imagine a baboon in the wild. It's a hot day, and the animal is desperate for water. It finds a hole in a tree with a lump of salt inside. The baboon reaches in, grabs the salt, and tries to pull its hand out. But his fist, now clenched around the prize, is too big for the hole. He's trapped, not by the tree, but by his own refusal to let go. This is how Dave Chappelle describes the entertainment industry. He calls it the salt trap. The industry gives you everything you ever dreamed of: the fame, the $100 million contracts, the global stage. But the moment you grab it, you belong to the person who put the salt there. Joe Rogan recently pulled back the curtain on this, revealing that for decades, the biggest names in Hollywood and the music business haven't just been selling their talent. They've been paying a hidden tax. A tax that involves deals with the devil, backroom compromises, and a system specifically designed to break human beings down until they are nothing more than assets. And as we're finding out, the people holding the cage have been playing this game since the black and white era. We like to think the casting couch is a modern scandal, a glitch in the system that started with Harvey Weinstein. But according to directors like Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avary, it was a foundational feature. Think back to the 60s, the golden age of cinema. One legendary producer didn't just have an office, he had a fully furnished bedroom built directly into his studio. If you were a young starlet looking for a break, you didn't just audition in front of a camera. You walked into that office, and the deal was made clear. If you wanted to be a star, you had to go into that bedroom. It was a literal toll booth for fame. This wasn't some dark secret whispered in alleys. It was the standard operating procedure. Everyone on set knew. The lighting techs, the assistants, the managers, they all watched the door close, and they all stayed silent because the money was too good to ruin the party. It's the same logic that fuels cults. When you have a steady stream of the most beautiful, ambitious people in the world walking through your door, and you hold the keys to their dreams, power doesn't just corrupt, it creates a monster. The most chilling part of the Harvey Weinstein era wasn't just the allegations, it was the mechanical, legal precision of it all. Most people don't realize that Weinstein actually had misconduct written into his professional contract. It wasn't a secret that he was a liability, it was a line item. There was a literal sliding scale for silence: 100,000 for the first incident, 250 for the second, rising all the way to 1 million. The company wasn't trying to stop him, they were budgeting for him. It was a subscription fee for predation. This is the open secret that Rogan and his guests frequently discuss. When the industry builds a financial buffer for abuse, it's no longer a crime, it's a business expense. If you were an actress who refused the deal, you didn't just lose a role. You were blackballed. You were difficult. Your name was scrubbed from the lists, and you were left watching from the sidelines as those who did take the deal walked across the stage at the Oscars, thanking the very man who broke them. Then there are the guardians of the culture, the people we trust to tell us the truth. Figures like Oprah Winfrey occupy a strange space in this narrative. For years, Oprah was the face of healing and empowerment, yet she was also the woman who sat front row with Harvey Weinstein for decades. Singer Seal famously pointed this out with a meme that sent shockwaves through social media: Oprah kissing Weinstein's cheek, with a caption suggesting she'd been part of the problem for years. The defense is always the same: I didn't know. But in an industry where everyone from the craft service table to the lead actor knew the rumors, that excuse starts to feel thin. Joe Rogan and comedian Kim Dillon touched on this: the idea that the most powerful people in media wait until the wind shifts before they get woke. Only after 50 women came forward did the narrative change. Before that, it was just the way things are. It raises a massive question. If the people we look up to as moral leaders are silent while the salt traps are being set, whose side are they actually on? It's not just movies. Sturgill Simpson once told Rogan that the exact same architecture exists in the music business. It's a racket that targets the most vulnerable, women and, most tragically, children. Think about Terry Crews, a literal mountain of a man, a former pro athlete. He came forward to say he was assaulted at a high-level Hollywood party by a powerful executive who just walked up and grabbed him. If someone with the physical presence of Terry Crews can be targeted and feel powerless to respond in the moment, imagine what happens to a 19-year-old kid from the Midwest with no money and a dream. The music industry operates on the same access model. You want the tour? You want the radio play? You have to play ball. It's a culture of silence where the management often acts as the supplier, handing over their clients to the elites just to keep the revenue flowing. When people try to fight back or walk away, the industry has a way of making them look crazy. We've seen it time and again. Mariah Carey signs a $100 million deal, and suddenly she's mysteriously unstable. Martin Lawrence is found waving a gun in the street, screaming that they are trying to kill him. Chappelle noted that these breakdowns almost always happen right as a star is crossing over to the next level of power. It's not just stress, it's deliberate. It's the result of being put through a psychological meat grinder. Roger Avery recently discussed a clip of a well-dressed man having a total breakdown at the Atlanta airport, screaming at people that they are zombies for ignoring the Epstein files. We dismiss these people as having lost their minds, but maybe they're the only ones who are actually awake. When you see the human sacrifices and the deals with the devil up close, your reality fractures. You realize you're living in a world where people are shipped around in drums of sulfuric acid while the rest of us argue about who won the Super Bowl. Back in 2014, Jim Carrey walked onto the stage of a late-night talk show and did something bizarre. He made a triangular hand sign and stuck his tongue through it, mocking the Illuminati symbols that people usually whisper about in dark corners of the internet. The audience laughed, thinking it was a bit, but look at his face. He was blowing the lid off it. He called it the all-mocking tongue and told the host, "The time is up. People are hip to this stuff." Carrey spent years being the industry's favorite clown, but as he got older, he started sounding more like a whistleblower. He, like Rogan, started warning parents, do not let your kids get into acting, because once they're in, they aren't your kids anymore. They are assets for a group of people who treat subhumans with a dismissive arrogance that most of us can't even fathom. So, what is the solution? Dave Chappelle found it. He walked away from $50 million. He let go of the salt. He realized that the money wasn't a reward, it was a leash. He watched a nature show about baboons and realized he was the one in the cage. Whether these stories are isolated incidents or a systemic, occult-like structure that runs the world, one thing is clear: the curtain is being pulled back. People are no longer numb. They're looking at the red carpets, the tuxedos, and the $100,000 watches, and they aren't seeing glamour anymore. They're seeing the price tag. They're seeing the salt trap. The question is, as more of these names come to light, will we continue to play our part as the zombies in the airport, or will we finally demand to know what's really happening behind the bedroom doors of the elite?